It's beginning to calm down. Um, I think it's time for tonight's prayer. It's probably going to be short. Um, I need to start preparing for bed, and I may have to evaporate a little moisture using the pocket warmers and the chemical reaction. Lord Adonai, this is my prayer tonight. I just did an etymology. Appears to be the only legitimate one. I checked. There is no etymology. It does come from the 19th century. No citations, no. And in doing that, uh, it got me to thinking about one of my favorite people. Lord, you know his story, but I'm going to, since this is a public prayer, I don't do the davening or stuff. I rarely pray in public. I rarely pray for long periods like you've seen me do. Yeah, I know I'm in battery saver mode. It still seems to work fine. I got this thing right in front of my face. And, I've told you before, one of my favorite songs is the simple but elegant. I think to myself, what a wonderful world by Louis. They'll be the last ones out. They already locked the door. Love getting interrupted. People come anyway. Louis Satchmo Armstrong. There's two definitions for Satchmo. Is that he says it's because I had a satchel mouth, had that big sigh and a beautiful smile and those smiling eyes. He's a hard person to forget. Did you know that he was actually raised by a Jewish couple? Uh huh. That actually the Satchmo is supposed to be like a Yiddish or something reference to his cheeks. Don't know that word. Not familiar with it. Well, like I told you, I'm not into just uh, so long ago I had read that, it was about 1,000 words on him. And then the other day it came up. Uh, actually, it slopped over. It showed up on my Facebook feed. A variation of the story where they say that something had happened to his father, and that his mother had to sell her body. But even then, it makes me. I mean, if she was really selling her body, shouldn't she have enough to support her son? I don't. Lord, I'm a thinker. I, as a young man, I saw the actual Rodin's thinker sculpture is at the Legion, the Palace of Legion of Honor. The permanent Rodin exhibit is there. A lot of that stuff is way bigger than life-size bronzes. Incredibly difficult to cast and join together, and if they were, I don't know. So I was going like, why slander the guy? He's not like Shoestring. That's what I'm thinking. He's not out there slandering, everybody that disagrees with him and stuff like, Louis Armstrong has got an immaculate record, cut the guy some slack. And I'm thinking, well, if she's at all successful at it, why didn't she keep her son? Prostitutes make a lot of money. And so I don't think that story was true. That he came into the custody of a loving Jewish couple who's always pinching them little chubby chicks. Hey, Louie. Hey, Louie. Hey. So, Lord, I think we need to pray for sinners. I'm a sinner. It's in this case, I want to pray for all the sons of whores. Is that what you're running away from? Shoestring is because I've first is your sexuality or your mother's sexuality or it's what is it? It's the only curious thing about me is why you would want to lead a life like that. I've had my adventure, but when it came to a time when I could really had kind of lost interest in it. Part of the reason I lost that adventurous thing is I never went on the Lord. I really didn't do the tourist path thing. I went off the tourist path to see the real world. And to tell you the truth, despite scenic beauty and stuff like that, I found great evil in the places I went to. And, maybe the exception is Canada. Okay, I got a lot of Canadian viewers. Okay, I love Canada. You Canadian dudes, you Canucks are okay, all right. Hand me a Labatt's or whatever, So we need to. What did the wise man? I think he was a Jew. There was some kid who was cursing men or stabbing men or something like that, and I can't remember how the story goes because stories become how you tell stories in a circle and it comes back different. And the old wise Jew or whoever, it can be adapted to any culture, I'm sure. The Lao Tzu. I'm not doing that right. I'm not getting that sibilant right. Is it Lao Tzu or Tzu? Lao Tzu. I'm not sure. Let's go back and listen. And he tells the young boy, careful who you curse. Careful who you stab. You may be stabbing your father because he was a son of a whore. Lord, tonight I pray genuinely for the sons of prostitutes, those fatherless children and those motherless children and those people who did not have the advantage of Louis Armstrong, or in my case, my own natural parents. It really doesn't matter. Louis Armstrong obviously grew up with, look at the mind that created the simple but elegant days. I think I'm getting the first skies of blue, clouds of white. I think that's it, but there's other ones, skies of blue and roses, red roses too. I'm not sure. The bright blessed day and the dark sacred night. I know who's going to be second horn behind Gabriel. That's what I'm saying right now. That's what I'm thinking. Now Gabriel's going to blow his horn to call all the faithful, and then behind him is going to be Louis Armstrong, Satchmo, possibly the son of a whore, raised by a nice Jewish couple. So a lot of you people think me evil. Those who know me know better. Today, actually, they kind of gave me a little breather, except for a couple. The woman who she knew I was filming. I wasn't filming her. She saw me look over the camera. She could tell I wasn't. Brought me more. She must have watched the video where I was talking about the most valuable thing in one of those bushel bags was a case full of hand warmers. I may have to use if If I didn't handle that bag right, I may have to. But I've had little, because it was started off as a kind of 65-degree, fairly typical day in many places in England. Please, I love the English. I really do. Um, I am English, uh, but we're actually, from the best I know, we were early on in the House of Lords. Actually, we escaped it. To my English-speaking fans, you may be aware that prior to 1260, the Jewish, thou shalt lend to other nations, but thou shalt not borrow, to prevent indentured servitude, being obligated to the nation that is hosting us during our diaspora. I guess God knew it was going to happen. That was the Jewish bank in England loaned a large sum to the monarchy. They reneged on the debt, and they deported almost every Jew in 1260. If you're black and you think that you've been persecuted, Google the term global map of Jewish deportations. Okay, so I am making this longer because people keep distracting me. She's doing the final lockup, and Lord, tonight I just want to pray for the fatherless children and the motherless children and the sons of whores, and I'm not going to extend that to the men because Lord, you know I've been careful about my birth control. It's real easy for men. I've been trying to teach them, Lord, 104-degree water better, preferably in a jacuzzi, to make sure it stays at 104 for, it's actually 25 minutes to do it, and Conceptro gel. And actually, anandamide, arachidonyl ethanolamide, regulates implantation. The molecule that God gave you to cure cancer, relieve depression, all that stuff. You hear me talking about cannabinoids all the time. It also results in 9 out of 10 conceptions are spontaneously aborted because the female is not ready on that particular day. And the arachidonyl ethanolamide is the regulator that acts to make that happen, to prevent embryonic implantation. Those papers have been there for, over 20-something years, at least 20 years. And, they're going to, Lord, God is not a proper noun. It's not his name. It is a name of a thing, an entity. It is I don't know what's the other, it's proper and non-proper nouns. Oh gosh, yeah, you're going to drop off a truck at some serious morons. I'm sorry. It's like a Carvana truck drop off. He's trying to, I don't think that's I'm sorry, I'm taking forever. I don't care. In England, it's past midnight. In Australia, they might be having their morning tea. So put on the kettle and watch that blighter and bugger from Texas. Big fat bloody bastard he is. Me. Talking about me. I'm not a bastard. I have a nephew that suffers from that syndrome because his mother put him up for adoption. when she could have just come home. My family didn't care. My mom was so angry at her for 33 years. She didn't know she had another grandchild hiding. Was so happy to meet the tall, handsome boy. And no, he's an old sad loser. Lord, I want to throw him in on there. He just was treated me dishonorably. He spoke shit to me. And he may have led ultimately to where I'm sitting here now. Is he coveted my property? He thought since he was family that he should at least have a piece of it. Well, that's actually up to me to decide. And now I don't care anymore. You can have it all. Fuck y'all. Don't like my neighbors anyway. What is the definition, etymology of neighbor? I've always thought it was nigh and or nearing borough, township, or nearest brother. I'll look it up sometime. It's only 1,000,000 words to study. I began a short prayer, and all of a sudden it was calm, and then boom, everybody wants to see what the hell I'm up to. That sometimes happens. I'm actually famous in this town. At first, there were 30,000 people a day gossiping about me. They're still linking to this channel through the Nextdoor app. And I deleted it. It's not supposed to be there anymore. I just want, will y'all calm the fuck down? Now they're over there acting ghetto. Drama. Lord, you just felt me have this impulse to withdraw my prayer. I'm not going to do that. I do have sympathy for the devil. I do have some sympathy for people who are, I don't want to call them victims, that are, due to their circumstances, a series of unfortunate events. But then Louis Armstrong is a testament that you don't have to be a whore boy, a hobo. You don't have to follow in the path of your mother, your parents, a whoremonger, and a whore. That's what this is really all about. This was for the children, the sons of whores. That's what this prayer is about. Wanted to do this in about 7 minutes and 77 seconds is what I was shooting for. And there was nobody here. Now all of a sudden there's been like 500 fucking cars blowing through the place. Please remember, my eyes are darting around all the time, not because I'm paranoid, it's because I have constant distractions. Right now I'm trying to hold a camera in a hand that I can't even really pick my booger out of my left nostril. Lord, you know it. By the way, would you please work on that? Thank you. But not finished. I have tremendous respect for the people of Australia and stuff like that. And these were people that were considered outcasts. These were people that were, in the beginning, were considered to be habitual criminals and stuff like that, and were transported to down under, the other far side of the planet from England. And what did England do? They gave these people who have no fear of hard labor, busting up rock, they gave them one of the richest continents on the planet. They still got like about 90% of all the uranium. They got rich off of selling coal, iron ore, all that, especially to the Chinese. And The Labor Party should have put in pipes, though, to the center part of the continent, though, and it would be like the, especially today's modern cargo containers with the refrigeration and everything, it could be the fresh produce and other, they could be like one of the great bread baskets of the world. It's a huge continent. It's mineral rich, which plants love all that stuff. And all they really should have done is, instead of them giving themselves endless raises and stuff, I have some criticisms of the Labor Party in there. It's given them everything, including free euthanasia, free injection sites. I don't, taking care of people is one thing, but they should have spent some money on laying in some massive pipelines from where water, to the best of my knowledge, I'm open to corrections from my Australian viewers. Please, if you know better, give me some data. As I understand, towards the northern part and there's a lot of water available that can be easily pumped inland. And this world is not overpopulated, it's mismanaged. This is about people who have mismanaged their own lives and made the wrong choices, and I struggle with it because actually last year or early, my best friend who's known me for almost 30 years now, lovely, gentle, I'm going to go ahead and name him. Why not? You can find him, and you'll find some mainstream media there butchering him as he defends criminals. America's based on criminal defense, because in other countries, you're not entitled to any kind of legal representation. Somebody who knows the laws and can help you argue your case. England, you are. Here you are. And here, taxpayers have to pay for it. If taxpayers want to charge you with a crime against the state, they have to pay for the best defense that can be found for you. And Bruno Shimek, I was talking about weak people who make these choices, stuff like that. I've told you about my history. I really hold the record for pain endurance without drugs. 2 full months, 6 games, won 5 of them, kicked ass in my height and weight class. Technically, from some it falls a little bit, but still within Division I football. But it was my senior year in high school. I was 17 years old. And it was not long ago, it was in the last year. Bruno, one day, I'd just been kind of chatting with him about goings on, I don't really. And he just told me one day, Kent, you're the strongest man I know. I think he could really only say that since his father passed. And I was really touched by that. I am a strong person. I could have many times prostituted myself for a lot of money. I could have taken that first contract with MGM Studios and let people touch every part of my body all day long. People who liked my body a lot, of the same sex. So, Lord, as someone who comes from a family who's tried to obey your rules, and I want to pray for those who haven't, due to circumstances we may not know. Louis Armstrong's mother may have had a neurochemical defect that could now be fixed, but then couldn't. The child was probably taken away from her, not given up voluntarily. I don't know if I trust any biography right now because of little synopses that I have read. So let's all think tonight about, you think that I'm one of the less fortunate? No, Lord, you know better. There's people all around here that think that I'm less fortunate than they are. They may be monetarily advantaged, but I find many of them to have a spiritual and discipline disadvantage, and familial, parental, and behavioral disadvantage. See, I actually can be a very well behaved person. You've seen me when I'm animated, when I'm being a rhetorician, almost bordering on demagogue, except demagogues will tell lies. Demagogues like Hobo. So, El Shaddai, you're truly the Almighty. Please cut all those sons of whores slack, and all those people that I know of, a lot of their behavior is based on the fact that that's one of the things that both Bruno and I and his professor of biochemistry wife done. We didn't like it because uh, he was talking about, trying to remind his son who's craved berries and stuff like that, that strength comes from the Lord. Well, yeah, but also the Lord gave us those berries and other that food for our physical strength. It's, to an idiot watching it, they would think that, yeah, you don't have to eat. That kind of be like the psychosis of veganism, that you don't need a non-toxic, or very low toxicity food source. I'm a Texan. We call beef vitamin B. It ain't beer, it's beef. So, Lord, please cut them some slack. You know what happened to them, and I want to personally thank you for handing over or making sure that Louis Armstrong ended up in the hands of a nice Jewish family, and giving me a song that's really one of the foundations of my philosophy. Is I've always been like that. I've been kind of like a little Louis Armstrong. It's like all of a sudden some new bug will pop up and I'm just happy as a little fucking kid. And something, because this creation around us is fascinating. These people go around all the time. They never really look up or down. Like, that's what they do in New York City. When I first went there, the ground was littered with ones and fives and tens and 20s and shit, and they wouldn't even see them. I never had to pay for a meal or coffee. I always had pocket money from just being with it, because I'm a tourist. I'm looking around and, hey, there's a Jackson. That's first time I went to New York City. I was going like, yeah, the streets are paved with gold, or at least gelt or something or whatever. So I've run this 29 minutes almost. The reason I've been doing this is I've been waiting for a couple to go away. They just won't. Sorry, the air's been very humid. It's one of the reasons I don't like being at sea. Lord, all the time I'm always trying to cut people slack, going, somebody has, before they became, king of the road, and somebody kind of guided them, or been helping them. He's been conning people. He's one of the least Christians I've ever seen. I've never actually posed pointing a gun right at the camera. What if it were loaded, Mr. Baldwin? I think y'all get my drift. Lord, We beseech you here by the side of the road, to quote Simply Red, we beseech them by the side of the road. We beseech you, O Lord, please save all the sons of whores. And I don't care much about the whoremongers. They've been negligent in their duties to provide for the product of their loins. Women are a special creature. That's why you made our culture matriarchal. Women hold a special place in Jewish culture. Like the Mexicans say, which they got it from the Jews, a house is built upon a woman's back. There's got to be some Yiddish saying like that. You know, if you hadn't noticed it, Spanish names are full of biblical names, not from the Bible. I mean, they're literal Hebrew names that were there long ago. Have you ever noticed the name Perez? Look in the Bible. Anyway, it just won't go away. I always have this knack to, when somebody's staring at me. So, that's it. I'm starting to bore myself. I know I'm boring you, Lord. I'm going to cut it right here. Please. Things have happened to people, and I don't believe in this. There is a weakness of character there, though. It's these people now, they claim to have substance abuse disorder and stuff like that, when they're perfectly hydrated and perfectly fed and have access to all the molecules you gave them to be able to produce arachidonyl ethanolamide, and they won't do it. That's that dichotomy, that choice, that free will that you give us, that I talk about in Isaiah 45:7, about God admits and takes responsibility. He's really kind of, in a way, he's apologizing for harming his own creation. But he has to test our free will in order for us to kind of come, and God was a singularity. I'll end with this. For you people, you want to know how to trip up the world's most brilliant physicists who think that they know it all? Is after they give their latest lecture in string theory and all this and that, and they're quite sure they've explained all of creation. Ask them this question. Professor or doctor, could you please expound upon the first cause? I think I said that right. It's been so long since I've had to do it. The first cause is what was there before the singularity. It was you, O Lord. The hubris of men that leads them to be whoremongers and produce children and batter women, stuff like that. I'm not praying for them. I haven't been a whoremonger. Don't approve of the whole pimping thing. I'm not praying for pimps here. I'm praying for the children of whores and hobos. Lord, I know you've heard my words. Please cut them some slack. Selah. Amen. I'm done. Oh, wrong button.